In this presentation, we'll be highlighting the additional features built into Connect One to maximize your customers' security investment with unified intelligence of their personnel and building operations. We've added many system integrations over the years, and you can always download a current compatibility list from the Home tab of the dealer application. I'll be discussing some of these integrations as we go through this presentation, but remember you can mix and match any of these systems within the same account as needed, and there's no complicating of any of the management because of that. A couple of complementary integrations to highlight are Halo sensors, which have many capabilities. One instance is vape detection in schools for alerting administrators. We have a great integration with Farpoint Bluetooth mobile credentials for simplified deployment, and Apereo wireless locks are seamlessly integrated into the intrusion panels for a consistent experience, just as if they were hardwired doors. No difference in permission management, depending on if they're wireless or wired. And also, if you're looking for an access only solution, CanSec door controllers are a great option to take a look at. Many different reporting options are possible, and custom filters can be saved for quick access and automated delivery on a schedule. There are also reports to calculate building occupancies, user in and out times, including the ability to highlight potential violations of employees spending too much time in certain areas of the building, such as the break room. All reports can be emailed automatically, including the configuration list reports, which can show, for one instance, pending or expiring users. And they may want to receive that on a regular basis for managing the personnel. Notifications are an important part of the application. There are many options to receive critical events, and custom messages such as instructions or procedures can be appended to that same notification when you're configuring the event rule. And in that way, they'll know the proper action to take regarding the event they're receiving, and there's no question of what they should do when they get the information. With the integrated video, captured camera snapshots may also be included in that same notification, which will also give the ability to view live from the cameras and also a recorded playback clip from the MVR. And there's also webhook triggers to external platforms like Microsoft Teams, where personnel can be alerted through those Teams channels. There are a lot of different ways to generate notifications in Connect One. Video integration allows for one interface to view live and recorded playback with compatible NVRs from the connected cameras. You can mix and match multiple NVRs, and your customer just sees cameras. So it doesn't matter what you decide to use, or if they have something existing at different locations, they're just going to see their cameras. Makes it very simple. Configured event rules can capture snapshots to be linked to the event, as I mentioned before, and this will show up with the real-time activity log. It'll be shown in reporting and also within the notification, as I said. Snapshots are stored in the Connect One cloud, so they'll remain with the event and not dependent on the NVR storage. The NVR can overwrite the video, but the snapshots will remain in Connect One associated with that event for viewing. The digital watchdog Spectrum and the Hanwha WiseNet, they have the ability to also push event information into Connect One, such as analytical events or NVR health status. So that information will show in the reports, could be sent out in notifications, and it can also trigger task rule actions, which might be activating an output on the intrusion panel, for instance. So, like an analytical event, line crossing or whatever that happens to be, could actually trigger something to happen. And also, Connect One can push event information into the MVR, and that could be used for tagging the video with the alarm or access activity, triggering a PTZ preset, or whatever else you want it to do. So it's a two-way event system between Connect One and the MVR. Task rules are a powerful feature for a single activation to trigger multiple commands, even across multiple systems if necessary. These can be activated manually from any monitor page, including when viewing cameras. So if they're viewing a camera, they can activate a task to unlock the door, let somebody in while they're viewing that. They can also be automatically activated through an event rule or automatically upon a defined schedule. Tasks can be defined as a lockdown action, which is what's shown in the screenshot on the right, where there's a task called severe weather. This allows for custom lockdown actions to occur, which might include notifying of an event to push out to mass notification for additional processing, which severe weather could be one of those, but it's all entirely custom. It could have multiple different tasks that could be activated with different actions. Could be announcing on a PA system, whatever they want to have happen. And those lockdown tasks could be individually selected or multiple could be selected at the same time. Time rules allow for supervised checks of certain system statuses on a defined frequency. When any of those checks fail, it will log an event, which can be sent out through an event rule notification. And it could also activate a task rule, as I was explaining just a moment ago. So it could not only just notify, but also an action could be taken on a particular system, which is an output or whatever they want to have happen. Some common use cases are to verify areas have been armed or disarmed at proper times. Specific zones weren't left open, such as a door prop, and they can have a check to be sure a user hasn't spent more time than their allowed limit in a particular area. So they could get a instant notification if someone's in an area for too long that's not allowed. Those are just some examples. The web link integration feature is a great way to accommodate visitors or guests without needing to assign a credential or downloading an app. When enabled for a user, they'll receive an email or text message with a link and a defined PIN code. The PIN code is not sent to any panel, it's just used for this feature. The link will open in their phone browser and allow them to enter that PIN code that's assigned to them and activate any of their allowed tasks, which in the screenshot you're seeing that they have two different tasks they can activate, but that's dependent on what they have permissions for, whichever ones. And it can be enabled for any user and will follow their allowed permissions and activation status. Therefore, it would only be active while their user account is active and could be disabled at any time. A use case for this feature is brought to us by a marina for their customers to lock and unlock the gate to their rented slip. They can also add the link to their home screen on their phone to use it just like an app if they're going to use it on a regular, frequent basis. GeoView is a method to plot system health and control markers on top of Google Maps satellite views. And it can also upload and overlay floor plans right on top of those satellite imagery. The markers update status in real time and allow for real time control, such as they can click on a door, unlock a door, If they click on a camera, they can view the camera right there, all on the same screen. And so they can see what's going on in real time and control in real time. Multiple locations as well. Our emergency response platform is a very exciting feature which allows you to partner with local law enforcement to provide them with quick access to view cameras, unlock doors, initiate lockdown. They can see this on the GeoView satellite layout with the floor plan and more to provide them with additional intelligence in emergency situations. The emergency platform is available in any of the Connect One service levels. It could be used in the field by the officers on site. It could also be used by dispatch. However, they um, want to see that information to mitigate an emergency situation. They can also manage their own access cards and fobs in the customer systems they have shared access to, which alleviates the responsibility of managing their fobs by the customer. And we currently have several schools utilizing this feature. Thermostats are a great ROI since the setback schedule can easily follow the arm status of each particular area, which is especially important in a commercial facility that most likely has multiple HVAC units. Ecobee Wi Fi thermostats are a great option when Z Wave might not be appropriate, but you can use either or. Temperature, humidity, and carbon dioxide monitoring is possible via connected sensors for real time sensor readings, including displaying the minimum and maximum over the last 24 hours and customizable low and high alarm threshold settings per sensor. The alarm notification will also include the current sensor reading and the threshold level to provide additional information to the responding personnel. And then they can also use the Connect One app to check the current readings as the situation continues. Sensor readings can also be set for periodic logging and are viewable in historical reports to satisfy regulatory compliance. So it doesn't just have to generate alarm. It could be normal conditions, but they're just logged on a regular frequency to verify that the temperature, humidity, whatever it's monitoring, has been consistent. Cases can be used to track security incidents or facility repairs. However, a more advanced function can be used to provide real time event response tracking. An example could be the freezer temperature alarm. Upon that alarm, an event rule can automatically and immediately begin a new case to be notified to a predefined primary personnel list. When they receive that notification, they can specify if they're available or not and store comments. Everyone's comments are recorded to that case, and everyone involved will receive email updates with the latest information regarding the situation. If no one responds available, or they specifically say they're not available, then the predefined list of backup personnel will be notified. All of the history regarding the actions taken, if they add any attachments or images regarding it, all that's recorded to the case, which can be later reviewed. The event log of that temperature alarm eventually is going to be purged depending on their subscribed history level. However, the case history is not. So that history of all the event actions will always be there and they'll be able to review that at any time. The asset management system is a method to track everything issued to employees in one place, such as if there if there's certain areas that they still need mechanical keys for, equipment that's issued to them. When issuing an asset to an employee, they'll receive a link to fill out a custom issuance form. And when they return it, they can have a return form that they fill out and sign. Those forms are turned into PDFs and they're stored with their user account in Connect One. So when they're removing a user, there is an automatic check to ensure all the assets assigned to them have been returned before they can remove the user in Connect One. And it's one place to verify everything. So not just their access card or credential, but anything else that's also been assigned to them. Also, assets can be used to track current locations of shared equipment. So they don't have to be necessarily assigned to a person, but they can be assigned to a location of the building and one place to go to see where anything currently is. Safe passage is a method of additional approval that's built on top of their access permissions. So if there's a need for a health approval, additional training verification of certain areas of the facility, waivers that need to be completed, or NDAs signed um, prior to their access, then they'll receive a link to complete those required questions and sign offs before they're approved. If they do not complete those, or they don't complete it in a way that's required, say they deny something, and an attempt to access the associated areas, then a violation event is generated and will be sent to management. The approval process can also be set to expire on a particular interval, so they may have to repeat the process in order to regain the approval status. And this can only it may or may not apply to just certain areas of the facility. It doesn't have to be across the board. They can have just certain areas that may require additional training approval or an additional waiver, whatever's necessary. All the completed approvals or denials are archived with that user record in Connect One. So they'll have that history right there with the user. The mobile badge, which is what's shown on the right there, that's a feature of the Connect One app. And also, their safe passage status will overlay right on top of that badge for verification of their approval. Visitor management is a feature of the user profile, which may be designated as a visitor group that allows for additional features such as tracking visitors in an in-out dashboard, filtering capabilities in any of the user lists, and they can also be assigned to a host that will be notified upon their visitor check-in. So when they create a visitor, that person will get a link for a self check-in and checkout, and this can also be combined with safe passage. So they may receive questions that they have to go through to approve or sign off on a waiver, whatever's necessary. It can capture their image and their signature. And right there also the visitor can send their host a message about their arrival, that they're on site or where they are, any other comments they want. One convenient method for visitor access credential could be a QR code sent from Connect One, and it can be displayed to a barcode reader at the door or entry gate to the facility. Or they could also use the web link feature that I explained earlier, where they could lock and unlock doors and they don't need a physical credential. And if you remember, they also don't need an app, so it's very easy to use. Weather monitoring further expands the environmental capabilities built into Connect One. There are multiple weather readings such as temperature, humidity, wind speed, the current condition. It's clear, snowing, raining, whatever that is. and also monitoring of National Weather Service alerts for severe weather, such as tornadoes. There's no hardware required. Weather readings are received from AccuWeather, and the alerts are received directly from the National Weather Service. The weather readings can trigger alarm conditions, and alerts can trigger notifications and actions on connected systems. For instance, a severe weather alert can trigger strobe lights, announcements on a PA system, lockdown, etc. And the weather alerts are pulled automatically. There's no setup that needs to be done. The emergency messaging hub is a way for multiple system types to communicate together via CAP messaging, which stands for Common Alerting Protocol. CAP is understood by a lot of emergency platforms such as mass notification systems. The Connect One has the ability to translate any event from any system, such as the intrusion system, and translate it to a CAP message for external platforms to understand, automatically receive those messages, and can process it for further actions. In addition, combined with GeoView, that message, that CAP message that these other systems receive, will also include the precise plotted coordinates of that sensor. And so essentially, Connect One then can send out CAT messaging to the systems and also receive CAT messaging from those systems for logging within Connect One, notifications in Connect One, and other processing. So some mass notification systems have apps for triggering panic alarms. That incoming panic event can come into Connect One and could trigger a lockdown on the access system. It's a two-way messaging system with other emergency platforms. Fire alarm monitoring further enhances the single dashboard concept with full event data from many different fire alarm control panel manufacturers with just a simple connection to the printer output on the fire panel. Many panels have the output on board, or it may be added through an external module. And reporting and notifications from that fire alarm data is possible then. The Connect One badge design options are built into the user profile. Up to 7 different custom badge design templates are possible. Those badges can be printed to a local printer on site. So, along with the background image of the badge, which could include different color options, logo, whatever they want to place on there, the user's image size, the text placement of name and custom fields, that's all configurable, as well as the placement of an optional barcode, which can be used by security personnel within the Connect One app. So when they can scan that person's badge to verify their authorization to be in the facility, since this will verify if they're still an active employee or visitor, along with their current safe passage status, as I showed earlier. There's also an integration with an external service called Instant Card, which basically can do outsourced printing if the customer doesn't want to maintain their own printer. API integrations are being requested on an increased basis to integrate their security information with other business or HR systems. Has the ability for them to retrieve system statuses, control the systems, such as locking, unlocking doors, modifying user system codes and cards. And there's also a method to push system event information into external logging platforms. Along with API access, there's also a method to configure single sign-on from external identity platforms like Okta and Microsoft Azure. Smart Test is a real-time keypad replacement for techs on site where they get instant feedback and control of the system from their phone or laptop, accessible from the dealer application. It's a great option for testing zones, testing access doors, without requiring a second technician on site to relay what's going on at the keypad. And the testing activity can be logged to a report, which is optional to be shown to the customer from the Connect One app. When creating a new customer and system, the Smart Show feature is an option that can be turned on, and this allows you to create different site level scenarios for demonstrating the features of Connect One without requiring any hardware at your office. All the systems are virtual, and another option with this is that you can give a login to your prospect and leave that behind with them so that they can play around with Connect One. And again, since they're not real systems, they can do whatever they want with it. So thank you for viewing the presentation.